When I look at that, the thing that is most important to me, first of all, to ask not the disparity and the inequity, but the most important thing is, what do I have control over and what do I not have control over? This is key for us as women to be standing in our power. There's a big, push to say women take your power back. And I guess, I think that has its place and its time for sure. There's a lot of legislation out there right now that is asking for us to step up that way. And not but and we also are in a position right now where we need to move into the center of our own power inside. So, what that means for me when I'm leading, speaking on this as a keynote, for example, negotiating for more, you're worth it, or when I'm leading this in the trainings that I do, the leadership trainings, is working from the inside out. Before we attack the things or go after the things that are external, we need to look to the internal. So, things like, for example, strong boundaries and having an impenetrable self respect. These are core foundational pieces for this idea of negotiating for more. Knowing what your core values and principles are as a person, knowing what it means to expect equity from the start. And that's not just equity in terms of how we're treated, it's equity in position, it's equity in compensation, it's equity in visibility and voice, right? There are a lot of different forms of equity. So these are just some of the different ideas that we start with from the inside. And then from there, we move outward to the idea of how we choose to not tolerate poor pay. Barbara Stanny, in her book Secrets of Six-Figure Women, makes a very clear, solid point about, and she puts the responsibility back in our hands, which I really quite love. She said, you can decide to be somebody who will accept poor pay, or you can decide to be somebody who will not accept poor pay.